Hey beauties, how are you today? I wanted to jump on here and just talk about triggers and our opportunity to shift. I wanted to first start off with a story, and then I want to give you kind of the gem or the nugget that I'm leaving with this day with that is totally helping me recreate my life and the choices. So, guys, if you're triggered, just relish in it. Triggers are this amazing indicator that something's important here. So take a look at your triggers. Now, how many times in our lives in personal growth work have we said, oh my God, I got triggered, there's something wrong with me, or I'm not high vibing, okay? And so there's different things to look at here. Let me tell you my story first. I went to the doctor's today to get my hip looked at, and it was the third appointment that was made that didn't work out. And I was 4 minutes late, and usually they keep me waiting for 20 minutes. So I was just in the parking lot and I was just like finishing up a text and I was like, oh, I'm usually waiting anyway. So I walk in and the lady's like, oh, you're a few minutes late. Sorry, your appointment's canceled and you're going to have to reschedule. Or you can stay till 11 and maybe we can fit you in. So I immediately got triggered because this was the third time that something didn't work with this company. And I immediately got angry. I immediately got into like, this isn't okay. I won't be treated like this. What the heck? You didn't tell me about this policy and everything like that. And every person was holding strong to like, this is a new policy. If you don't come and you're even a minute late, like we give away your appointment. So I finally did go in 40 minutes later, and they kept me waiting there for 20 minutes again and said that the doctor still had two more patients to see, and all because I didn't show up to my appointment at 40 minutes earlier. So anyway, long story short, I left, and after I was a raving lunatic, I asked the question, what is right and light about this that I'm not getting? And so I was really triggered and I wanted to find what was right and light about it. What was light about this that I wasn't getting? And what I got was this clinic that I was going to was no longer a match vibrationally to me. And when I'd go there, I'd just kind of pummel into this vibration to match it. And it felt really, really uncomfortable. One, to react that way felt really uncomfortable because it's just not my MO. And two, to be treated the way these people were treating me felt really uncomfortable, not being able to get a different response, not being able to be respected and honored the way that I feel like people should be treated at a doctor's office, felt really, really uncomfortable. So I faced a huge trigger today. Now, there's two ways to take a look at triggers. One is, where are we vibrationally, right? Is there something vibrationally that I could shift here? Am I in a low vibration and I want to go upward, right? Am I in a low vibration and I'm attracting a lower vibration reaction here? There's that. And then we can take a look at how to, incrementally climb back up to our source self. Or are you in this space of enlightenment? I mean, here I am driving to the doctors, singing this song about positivity and about living your best life. And I get there early, and I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting, and I'm high vibing, and I get in there and it's just like whoosh. What this was showing me was this just like, it's just not a vibration anymore. As soon as I got in there, I couldn't sustain, and I was acting in ways that wasn't even like me anymore. So I found it just very interesting. So as soon as I got home and as soon as I got into my own space, like the heaviness and the trigger just lifted. And I did some sounding work. I just did some toning to get myself back into my source self. And what I really got from this was I've outgrown that doctor's office. So we can outgrow relationships, we can outgrow companies and businesses, we can outgrow doctors, we can outgrow anything in our lives if we are on this awakening journey and vibrational awakening. So as our vibration increases, as our frequency rate increases, then all of a sudden we might find ourselves that we just aren't fitting into the puzzle of our life. We need a different puzzle piece, right? So here's the puzzle of my life, and here's the doctor I use. I need to take that piece out. It doesn't fit anymore. All of a sudden it grew more little branches, and it's not fitting in that hole of my life anymore. So that's gonna go. I'm gonna look into a different way of getting my hip looked at or getting it treated. And I'm going to find a system and a doctor that will treat me in a different way, a way that really works for me. So our triggers are super, super important to let us know if we've outgrown something vibrationally. They're also really important because they help us let us know if we're hanging out in a low vibration and we're going to a high vibration, and we can't live there either. So I guess it's just like there's lower vibration and a high vibe walking into it, and then there's a high vibration and a low vibe walking into it. Either way, ask the question, what's happening here? What is this? What's right and light about this that I'm not getting? You know, it's uncomfortable when we grow out of relationships, businesses, doctors, our team, right? When we grow out of things, it's super uncomfortable because we've got it figured out. You know, this is what I do and this happens. This is what I do and this happens. And it's kind of like a little on autopilot, right? And it's comfortable and it's sustainable, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I know I call this number to go to that doctor. But autopilot, guys, as we are on our awakening journey, doesn't really work that well anymore. Autopilot is unconscious, is living unconsciously. And as we're on our great awakening, we're striving to live consciously every moment of our day. So autopilot doesn't work for us who are on these awakening journeys. So I'm going to live consciously through what's next for my hip. And what's the most high vibe, empowering way that I can work through this? And also looking at what's up with my hip from a thought belief system as well. So that's what I got for you today, guys. Let me know, is this making sense for you? I want to know in the comments, do you have a story that you could share with us about being triggered? And did the trigger show you something about your life that you could choose differently? Perhaps choosing a different relationship. I remember when I was taking the Course in Miracles some years ago, a lot of years ago actually. I was taking it when I was 28 and I'm going to be 50. They were talking about divorce, and they did not see divorce as a failure. They saw it as a huge success. Divorce was a success because it shows that you are awakening and growing out of the relationship. So I'm growing out of the relationship with this clinic, with this doctor that I use, and it's all good. It's all good. Now, we can also be aware of things before we get triggered. Did you ever know, like, did you ever feel like you could feel something wasn't like aligned vibrationally with a person or a business or a doctor, right? Yet you're like, oh, I don't know exactly what else to do. I'm just gonna keep going with this. But you kind of knew, right? Well, if we keep going past that knowing, that's when we get triggered. I remember a long time ago, I had a boyfriend, and that we were going back and forth. I was supposed to move cross country with him. I sold everything, and something in the depths of my knowing knew that this was not the guy for me. He was really great, but I really knew that this just wasn't it. And I just kept putting that down. And what happened was I kept getting these indicators that this just wasn't the one, but I kept ignoring it. And guess what happened? I sold everything. I was about to drive cross country with everything I own to go live across the country with him. And he called me 4 days before I left and just broke everything off. And part of me was devastated. Part of me was relieved. The other part was so aggravated at myself that I didn't heed the awareness. I knew deep down. And it's the same thing with this clinic and this doctor. Like, the place, it just irks me. There are policies and procedures and the way the administration works, and I know that it's not in alignment with me, and yet I keep going because it's easy. So guys, don't get down on yourself for having triggers. Just use them to rise up and see what's next. And we can always heed our awareness and prevent even a trigger from even happening. So that was eye-opening today, that I really know that this place is not in alignment with me. Yet I keep doing it. And same thing with that story in my past with the boyfriend. I knew that guy wasn't for me. And so it had to get more uncomfortable for me to really make a different choice, or for him to make the choice for me. How uncomfortable is that? So let's get really fine-tuned. Let's take the time to really listen within so that we can hear our own knowing. And when we do that, we prevent a whole lot of discomfort and triggers and suffering. But we didn't do that, and we're at a trigger. No worries. That trigger is taking care of you. You know, once you cool down, ask that question. What is right and light about this that I am not getting here? And your knowing will come right back up. Oh, this is what I've been trying to tell you. And boy, did I get that message today. So I just wanted to share that with you. Perhaps my story is something that you can relate to. And we don't have to get down on ourselves. These are the learning curves that we face over and over again as we awaken, and it's all okay. And here we go. Here we go, rising high, picking ourselves back up and living our best lives now. So honor that trigger and then see what your being wants to choose next. All right, beautiful people. Loving you here from Colorado. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.